extract data from any PDF or image using this n8n workflow. And the best part, it's completely free to run. In today's video, I'm going to walk us through exactly how we can build this workflow to analyze both PDFs and images to extract all of the text that you need. We're going to be able to upload our PDFs and images into a Google Drive folder, go through and analyze it with n8n, extract all of that data with a market-leading platform called Mistral AI, and go through and upload and store all of that data into our Google Drive. So let's jump in and see exactly how it works. So as you can see on the left-hand side here, we're going to come into our to be processed folder. We're going to upload this PDF invoice example, wait for it to confirm that it's all been uploaded, as you can see there, and then we simply need to press execute workflow, and the rest is going to be done automatically. We're going to be able to download this file to get it in the PDF format. We're going to check if it is a PDF or PNG that we're analyzing. We're then going to be able to come through and extract lots and lots of data that we'll then be able to use, come through, actually get the parts of the data that we need. So in this invoice example, we've got a category, a number, the biller, total, subtotal, and tax amount, but you can completely change that to what you want. We're then going to go through, move the file across to the completed section. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, it's now not in the to be processed, but it is going to be in the processed file instead. We're also going to go through and upload all of this data into our Google Sheets here so that we can analyze it and pull out insights as we need. And even though Google Sheets dashboards are awful, we can start to generate dashboards exactly like this. So let's jump in and see exactly how it's built. And if you want to learn more about AI and automation, definitely check the link below. We've got a great community around how to actually build and identify and sell AI and automation solutions. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So we're going to come across to a new workflow. We're going to import the blueprint from the community and it will be ready to go straight away. But as mentioned, we're going to show you exactly how to build it from scratch now. So the first part is going to be able to get that document. So we're going to add in a Google and then Drive node in here. We're going to be watching for specific changes within a folder because we want to know if something's been uploaded. So if I come across into here, as you can see, we've got two folders. We've got processed or to be processed. We're going to come into the to be processed first, and this is going to be what's triggering our workflow. So you need to make sure that you connect your credentials in here. It takes a little while to go through and do. We've got other videos on the channel and in the community that show how to do that. I'll also include the link below to the documentation so you can find it nice and easy, and they've even got a video that walks you through step by step. Coming back across though, we're going to use the account that I've already got connected. So first things first is, what is the folder called? Well, we're going to come back across to here. We're going to check that it's called invoices/text to be processed. So I'm just going to copy this, come back across. Then where we've got triggers on, we're going to keep that the same. We're going to do folder. We're going to click in here, paste what that folder name was called, and now it's all connected. And if you ever want to double check, when you hover over this little button here and press it, it will take you through to that folder so you can check nice and easily if it's the correct one. So we know it's the correct one. We're now going to look for file created. And that's because when we upload a file into Google Drive, it's going to create it in that specific environment. So as you see here, we're going to have nothing coming through as the fetch event at the moment because nothing has been received. If I come back across, we come into the to be processed. We're going to upload an example invoice type, and we're going to do an example invoice, and there we go. This is now going through and uploading it. And as you can see here, once it's added into this folder, it's been created in our Google Drive. We're then going to come back and do extract the data. And as we can see on the right hand side here, It's now captured all of that data for us to use as we go through in the rest of the process. The key part to show you straight away is we've got the invoice of the document as well as the MIME type, showing that it's a PDF, which we can then use later on to see if it's an image or a PDF that we're processing. I'm going to pin that data so we can use it later on. Now we currently don't actually have the file for us to be able to analyze. So we're going to do Drive, and then we'll add in Google Drive, and we're going to do download a file. This way we can now extract that specific file to use later on. We're going to scroll down and find where the ID of the document is. We're then going to pull that across into the file here so that we can extract it. You'll see that you'll be able to change the file name. So for example here, if I do extract step, we're looking to get data on the right hand side here. But if I change this to be invoices, we will see that it changes from data to invoices. So you can play around with it here and see what you prefer. Maybe you've got ones that are meeting notes that you want to analyze. You've got handwritten notes you want uploaded into Google Docs. You've got invoices, lots and lots of different use cases. That's why it may be useful to change that. We're going to change that back to data for today. What you'll also see is you can change the Google file conversion. So maybe you've had it uploaded as a Google Doc. You can change it to PDF and use it later on. We're going to get rid of that though, because all we need is the data outputted as data in our PDF file type. So now we've got the data uploaded into Google Drive, and now we've got it into n8n. So what we're going to do is an if statement next. To check what it is, we're going to come back across to schema, and then we're going to come down the bottom to find that MIME type, as you can see here, and pull that across. So now what we're going to do is copy that it's a PDF, and we're going to press execute step. So now, if the file type is PDF, it's going to go through the true branch up the top here. But actually, if it came through as, say, PNG, now we can send it through a false branch instead. And that's how we can go through and check what it is. So we're going to do PDF and leave it as is, ready to go. So how are we going to analyze it? Well, today I'm going to be using Mistral AI, which is a market-leading platform we're going to touch on in a minute. It's the world's best OCR at the moment, which stands for optical character recognition, and that's how we extract the text. You'll find that it's over 90% accurate in extracting the data for what you're looking for. Now, to show you how it works, first we need to create a new credential. So to do that, you want to come across to Mistral AI. I'll include the link below so you can find it nice and easily. It's one of the lesser known LLMs out there, but it's fantastic. And as you can see, some of the names in the background that are starting to use Mistral AI. It's based in France. It's very, very good. And more importantly, we can run this entire process for free. Or if you want to get access to the latest models, all you need to do is come down to API pricing, and you'll be paying around $1 per 1,000 pages. So as you can see, it can be very, very cost effective to be able to run this for yourself or some clients if you want to. They've also got their own AI that you can chat to, a bit like ChatGPT, called Mistral Medium, which again is really good for your use cases. To use it though, we're going to come up to try the API. This is going to ask you to set up an account. When you do, you'll be given the option of using it for free, which I recommend you start with, or you'll be given the option to pay as you go. The difference between the two is when you go up to pay as you go, you'll get access to the latest models, but the free version you can absolutely use for this use case. Now, to be able to use it with n8n, come down to where you've got your API keys, and then you just want to create a new key. I'm going to call it extract YT demo, and we can go through and create a key. I'm now going to copy that key that we've got, come back across to n8n and paste in here. We'll also change this to YT demo extract, and we're going to do save. If it goes green, that means it's all successfully registered on Mistral and into n8n, so you can use it straight away. Now, something I also recommend you come down to is privacy. The reason for that is because something I disagree with as well is that it automatically says that Mistral can train on your data, even though it's anonymized. I'd recommend you turn that off. So all of your privacy is going to be protected and it's not going to use any of your data to train on. Now, we're going to go through and make a few changes in here for exactly what we're looking for. You're going to keep the document as the resource. The operation is extract text. We're going to be using the latest model. We are going to keep it as document for this version, but we're going to duplicate it for image later on. We're also saying that we want the binary data because we can't directly access a Google Drive URL because of the security that sits around Google. So instead, we're going to be passing a file into it, i.e. the binary data, into Mistral directly. You need to make sure that data here matches data here, or whatever the file name is on the left, you need to input into here. Otherwise, it's not going to upload that specific file to process it in the future. You'll also see here that we can do up to 50 megabytes worth of files going through at once and up to 1,000 pages. So it can be very, very large documents that you process to pull out some information, whether it be meeting notes, a report, or anything else. It's a great use case. We're going to come down and you can also enable batch processing. As you can see here, if you've got multiple different documents going through. We don't for today though, so all we're looking to do is extract some data. So I'm going to press execute step and now it's going through and pulling out all of that data for us. On the right hand side, you'll see a few different options. We've got markdown and the extracting text, which is what we want for later on. We can come across to JSON and we'll see exactly what it looks like. We've got the markdown option up here and the text version here. You can use either or later on, just depends on what works best for your use case. We're going to come through and we're going to use an AI step of information extractor to pull out all of the data later on. We're going to do expression, put across the markdown, or you can do extracted text to be able to go through and pull out the attributes that we want. And that's where we can do it in a really easy, nice to use low code format like this. Or if you're more comfortable, you can go through and do it in more of a JSON schema styled fashion. We're going to come back to attributes though to show you how to do it. Now we've got a couple of different ones that we want to use today. So I'm going to add in a few different options. First, we want to come in and we want to do invoice category. We can change the different types. Today we're going to be using a string output because it's going to be a mixture of numbers and letters in the outputs. We need to go through and give it a description, and this use case is just going to be predefined ones such as office supplies, bills, rent, and explaining not to create new categories. You can say if you want it required or not required. The key thing to know with this is you need to make sure it's in all of the documents you're receiving. If it's not and you turn on required, it will throw up an error and won't complete the rest of the process. The next part here is going to be invoice and then number. Again, it's going to be a string because it's that mixture of numbers and letters, whereas the category is just going to be mainly pure text. We're going to come in here and give it a quick description, and that's because it's going to be the unique identifier assigned to an invoice. Next, we're going to come through and say invoice and then biller. And this is going to be the person that is actually issuing the invoice to us to pay off. Next, we want to come through and do invoice total and come down and define it. And it's going to be the total payable amount, including tax. Next, we're going to do invoice and then subtotal, which is going to be the amount before we have to pay any tax. So we're going to come into here and we're just going to put the subtotal before tax. The last attribute that I'm going to add in here is going to be the tax amount. Again, we'll keep it as a string and we're just going to explain that it's the total tax amount applied to this invoice. You can go through and add different inputs if you want. We can improve the system prompt and much, much more, but you don't have to. We're going to come out of here and then I'm going to simply attach our OpenAI LLM here and use ChatGPT 4.1 mini so it's nice and cheap to run. If you haven't added your account, make sure to come through and create a new credential, add your API key in there from Playground of OpenAI, and it'll all be ready to go straight away. We're going to pull that to the right hand side because of course we're going to need to add in the other version. So I'm just going to duplicate in here. We're going to pull down the bottom, change in here to be an image instead of a document. So now when we connect this up, we can extract information or text from a PDF or a document as well as images. I'm going to come back into here though, and now we're going to press execute step. And what we should see on the right hand side, we've now got that invoice category, the invoice number, who sent it to us, the invoice total, subtotal, and tax amount. We are going to need to make a quick change though, because if I come down here, I forgot to change this to be a number for the total, subtotal, and the tax amount. So now if we execute the step, it should just give us an integer output like we see here, which is pure numbers or a float in some of those use cases, which is where it has a decimal place and some numbers, so that we can actually go through and format it better in Google Sheets. Now we're going to go through and just move that file into the actual processed area. So currently we've still got it as invoice example in the to be processed. But actually we want to come out of here and put it into the process one instead. So to do that, we're going to come out of here. We're going to do Google and then Google Drive. We're going to say that we're moving a file from one folder to another. The file in question, we need to do expression. We're going to come back to where we had download a file. We're going to find the ID and pull that across. We're then also going to change the parent folder, i.e. the destination folder. So I'm going to come back and just copy the name exactly as it is and put it into here. And we're just going to search for our folder in there. And as we can see, ready to go. So now we'll see that this is empty. But if I come back, execute the step and wait for it to go green, we should now see it populated in here. And we know if it's worked correctly because we'll come back into the to be processed and it's now empty. So this way we can keep a track of everything that has been processed or needs to be processed in the future. We're going to come out of here and do save. The next one is we're going to do Google and then Drive, and I just want to update that file. The reason for this is because now we've got an invoice number we've extracted as well as who sent us the invoice. So now we can make it much easier to understand what invoice is from what person. So the file to update, again, will change to expression, and then we're just going to put across the ID. We're not going to change the file content, but we are going to change the file name. So I'm going to come back to information extractor and put across the biller. We're going to come to the end, do dash, and then add in invoice number. So now, as you can see at the bottom here, instead of it being invoice example, it's going to be who sent the invoice to us and the invoice number. We're going to come through and do execute step. And now what we should see is that quickly it got updated to be the correct name and number. All we want to do now to add it into our Google Sheets is come across and do Google and then Sheet. Come into here. We're going to do append a new row in a sheet. If I come across to our Google Sheet, we can see that we've got a couple of different columns. We've got our category, invoice number, who sent the invoice to us, the biller, the total amount, subtotal amount, tax amount, file name, and the URL. What you'll also see here is their numerical values. So if we wanted to go through and do the dashboard or do some calculations, we can, because you can't do some calculations on text instead. So this is much better for future-proofing this specific solution. So we're going to come back and just check what is named. So it's called invoice details. We're going to choose invoice detail. The sheet is going to be data. It's now going to pull through all of those columns that we've already pre-specified. We're going to come back to where we extracted all of that information using OpenAI, having extracted the data originally from Mistral. We're going to put across the category, the number, the biller, we've got the total, subtotal, and tax amount. What we can also do is change the file name and file URL. We're going to come up to where we updated the file, and we're going to put across that name. Now, to change the URL is a bit more complicated. We're going to come back across to our Google Drive, and we're going to click on what that invoice currently looks like. We're going to come up to the top and copy that URL. We'll then come back into n8n, change to expression, and open it up. So now if we paste in here, what we can see is that we've actually got that ID embedded into the URL. So we're going to delete that and then put across the ID. So now, as you can see on the right hand side here, it's going to be the correct URL to be able to view it later on. So now, if we come back to our Google Sheets, you'll see here that the last one was done a bit earlier on today. But if I come back through, extract the step, we should now have actually 2 in here. So there you go, number 23, so that we can actually go through and analyze it later on. You'll also see, for example, it's updated our dashboard so that we can constantly go through and track it. I recommend using platforms more like Airtable or Power BI if you're looking to get a much better visual. We're going to come out of here there and do save. And now to show you that it also works with our PNGs, we're just going to unpin this, come back into our Google Drive, back across to be processed, right hand click, file upload, upload the PNG instead, wait for it to go green that it's all uploaded, there we go. Now execute the workflow and it will go through and process the rest of it for us straight away. And now we can automatically, really quickly and easily set up a really great automation to extract information and add it into different databases. So as you can see there, added in straight away. And if we come back across on the processed, we've now got the image version as well as the PDF version stored and ready to use as we need it. Make sure to come across to the community and get access to the resource nice and quick and easy, as well as learn how to build and sell AI solutions. Subscribe to the channel, let me know below what you'd like to see more of, and stay tuned for more around AI, automation, and have a great day.